the heart of the Treasure Valley, a vital artery to Boise's quality of life, the center for so much of our recreation. Today, all these describe the pristine nature of the Boise River, but it wasn't always this way. Until the city built the first wastewater treatment facility in 1950, most of the raw sewage was collected in a sewer pipeline system and dumped into the river without any treatment.
So you had food processing, meat packing, and similar kinds of activities where the river was a sewer, basically. So you had the waste products of those kind of activities, milk, blood, potato peelings, stuff that just you didn't have any other way to dispose of it. It went down the river. But it was very unpleasant.
Restoring and protecting water quality in rivers and streams became a significant public concern throughout the United States, which led to the passing of the Clean Water Act in 1972. The act mandated that the Environmental Protection Agency publish and enforce discharge standards for wastewater treatment plants, which helped to restore the beauty and quality of the Boise River.
The Boise River is probably the best it's been, in 100 years. And people are fishing, people are riding their bikes, people are walking, strolling. You can see tens of thousands of people over the course of the summer floating down the Boise River, and people of all ages are getting out and enjoying it. And this is a real draw. This is a real economic boost for our city. Water quality standards and that government regulation is critical. Each of our cities and counties in the valley really need to abide by those and go overboard to make sure that we're in compliance.
The Clean Water Act continues today as an important regulatory tool in maintaining strict water quality standards across the nation. Today, the City of Boise's wastewater treatment facilities treat and discharge up to 39 million gallons of wastewater per day between two separate wastewater treatment facilities along the Boise River, the Lander Street Wastewater Treatment Facility and the West Boise Wastewater Treatment Facility. These facilities remove more than 96% of solids, biochemical oxygen demand, and ammonia from the community's wastewater.
We're using the same processes that Mother Nature would have in a stream, of trickling over stones, mixing with air, having algae and living organisms pull things out of the water.
Prior to discharge, the plant flows are disinfected using ultraviolet light. Solids removed from the wastewater are further processed and applied at a city-owned farm as fertilizer for crop production. Industrial pre-treatment is an extremely important component of the city's overall collection and treatment effort. The Industrial Pre-Treatment Program regulates industrial wastewater discharges to prevent or reduce certain types of pollutants from entering the collection and treatment system. The program is administered through routine compliance monitoring and inspection, like this one at NextEdge in Boise.
We are primarily an anodizing facility here, which makes us be in the pre-treatment program. We put aluminum oxide onto the aluminum parts for the semiconductor industry. A lot of times when people think of plating shops or coating shops, they picture big drums of waste and people dumping bad things down the drain. And we don't do that. And we go through a great effort to make sure that what leaves this facility is suitable for the sewage treatment plant.
We have a route that we go on and focus on these areas briefly. If no changes have been made, I move on. If something's been modified, then Mark and I will spend a little time on it to get up to speed on what the modifications were and how it potentially impacts the outfall. Document it and move on to the next station.
It's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, we want to make sure that the water that leaves here is fit to go to the sewage treatment plant and in turn go to the Boise River, where we all like to recreate. Secondly, by participating in the pre-treatment program, we've also realized some cost savings and some energy savings through things we've learned by our self-monitoring requirements.
These efforts are aimed at protecting not only the water quality of the Boise River, but the water quality of the Snake River as well. The City of Boise and other cities across the valley are working diligently with the Environmental Protection Agency and Idaho Department of Environmental Quality to reduce the amount of phosphorus being discharged into the Boise River. In the right quantity, phosphorus is a nutrient vital to the growth and well-being of plants and aquatic organisms. However, an abundance of phosphorus can lead to detrimental effects, such as excess algae growth that can kill fish and other aquatic life and diminish the aesthetic and recreational value of rivers and lakes. To reduce the amount of phosphorus discharged into the Boise River, the city will make major upgrades to the treatment process over the next decade, requiring a major financial investment. The plan proposes an innovative technology to remove and recycle phosphorus in the wastewater and will result in a fertilizer byproduct called struvite.
We have a prime opportunity almost to mine what's in a wastewater treatment plant and now remove that phosphorus out.
It can be sold to generate revenue to help offset the treatment costs, minimize the use of chemicals, and reduce production of greenhouse gas emissions. This approach minimizes environmental, economic, and social impacts. As Boise continues to grow, sustainability principles will guide the decisions we make.
We live in a desert, and the reuse of water in subdivisions is going to be important from the standpoint of using it on common areas, and it's going to be from an irrigation standpoint, it's going to be important to using it on parks and those type of items, because the water is not only in during the construction process, it's going to be in over a longer term. That'll be a very big portion of the responsibility of builders.
Other proposed actions for a sustainable future include educating the public on how to divert some waste streams from the sewer system and using treatment byproducts to produce the electricity and heat needed to run the treatment facilities. These goals are only achievable when they're affordable. We plan to manage costs to ratepayers by continuing to implement connection fees, controlling capital expenditures and operating costs, and using financing where appropriate. Our abundant natural resources help define the City of Boise, and responsible stewardship of these resources is essential to sustaining our quality of life. Protecting the Boise River is a greater challenge with each passing year, but it is a challenge that must be met.